So for today, we're going to be taking blue-white mill out for a spin here. There's not a heck of a whole lot of white in the main board. It's mainly blue, as you can see. We've got just the 4 Hedron crabs, the 4 ruin crabs, and the 4 visions as the 1-drops. Then we have 4 remands. Then we have 4 Tashas, 4 fractured sanity. And then I'm packing 2 Archmage charm, either so we can draw more cards, counter a spell, or steal a thing. And then we've got 4 archive traps to mill for 13. And then the reason we're in white, prismatic ending. Card is pretty busted right now in the format. There's lots of things on 0, 1, and 2 that it can hit. Not a lot's going to be on 0 that you care about, but a lot on 1 and 2. And occasionally 3, which is why we have the 1 of Triome for us to go and grab. For the mana base, we've got 3 Hollowed Fountain, 1 Obero, 4 Island, 1 Plains, 1 Sea Chrome Coast, and that's our sources of color. Not a lot for white, but enough on blue. And then 4 fields and 7 fetch lands. Hopefully it'll be enough. We'll test and see. And then now for the fun part of the white splash in the sideboard. So what we've got going on for the sideboard here is we've got 2 Path to Exiles as a way to deal with more creatures when we need it. There's just some things that we can't really deal with. And then Path allows them to search. If they're searching, that's going to turn on our archive traps. 2 Rest in Peace, which I know is a non-bow with the Visions of Beyond. But there's enough that Graveyard Matters decks right now in the format that I want a way to deal with Mass Grave, or have Mass Grave hate more than just Soul Guide Lantern. So we're going to be packing 2 Rest in Peace and see how that does. I'm opting for Sunset Revelry over something like Blossoming Calm for the burn matchup. Again, you need something for the burn matchup, and having a way to be able to block, gain life, and possibly draw more cards. Not a terrible idea. So that's why we're going to be testing out the Sunset Revelry. Yes, you are. Stickball, how you doing? Then we've got 2 Mystical Disputes in the sideboard and 2 Test of Talents because counter magic is annoying and we need to be able to play through it. A Supreme Verdict because creatures are a thing, and an Engineered Explosives because most of those creatures 0, 1, and 2. That's what we need to deal with. And then 2 Soul Guide Lanterns, because Soul Guide Lantern's not a bad card, can recur it with Luris. And I didn't want to go full on 4 Rest in Peace. That seems a bit aggressive. And then, of course, Luris of the Dream Den, because who doesn't love the cat, right? That's the quick rundown of the list. And now we'll take it for a spin and see how blue-white does. All right, awesome. We won the die roll. Oh no, we lost the die roll, but they don't have a companion. So the awkward part is it's our other basic planes in hand. We'll try it though. What's the worst that can happen, right? Well, they go with a polluted delta and pass the turn. There we go. We found ourselves a fetch land. This we will fetch for a island here. And drop down the crab and pass the turn. Opponent fetched. And shocked. What are they doing? Pushing? Archive trap you then. See what you are. All right. Esper control, huh? Not great for us. But not awful. We can deal with this. Okay, Visions isn't bad. Actually, Visions is really good here because it allows us to cycle Fractured Sanity and then Field of Ruin will turn on Visions of Beyond. Or they will just opt. Meaning our cycled fractured sanity will just turn on Visions of Beyond. Mill 4, and then we have... Ooh, that's not a bad draw. Other than we are flooding out. Do this so they don't have up triple blue. Make them have exactly counterspell here. I'm sure that they have it. But... yeah. Alright. Now we pass the turn. They opt. Hedron Crab. So this is interesting. If we go for the crab and they don't counter, we can mill 6 and shut them off of white if they try to get white. Okay with this plan. And if they have the counter spell, we just hold them to it. Going for the push here to hold up white. Double black fetch. Sure. Guile. Field of Ruin your Hollowed Fountain. And see if you have basic planes. They do. Opponent's got 22 cards left in deck. So I think we're pretty clear here. Game 1. Not a lot of threats have been hit, though. But, like, they don't have Jace. They don't have one of their Teferis. They're missing a Snapcaster Mage. So this is coming down to what do they have in hand. There's a Mind Sculptor. Fate Seal. Fate Seal. They're debating, so it's obviously not a mill spell, but it's obviously something close. Do I not get to know where that goes? Luris to hand. Land for turn. Say go. I could have played a fetch land. Chooses not to use, is what it says there. So whatever it was, they liked it enough to keep it there. So they've got... dang it. So we run this into the counter spell. I was not. But that doesn't seem like a bad plan. Show me your counter magic, opponent, because I knew that you had it. Really sucks that our hand's just a bunch of land at this point. I mean, yes, but at the same time, I need to be able to stop need to kill them quick, so I need a way to shuffle away. Or if they choose not to activate Jace. So whatever it is, probably a thing that doesn't hurt them. Meaning it's not a crab, or they have a counter magic. They have counter magic for it. So we're gonna let Teferi untap, and then we're gonna blow up whatever they tap or untap with. Knock them off of black and white and make them have blue and white. And we draw a ruin crab. Okay. So field's not great here. Because we don't have any more basics to get. I'm gonna try to path my crab. Blue, white, 1. This into a guile. Bleh. We're gonna Fate Seal. Chooses not to, and then draws a card with Teferi. That's fine. Because that's 12, and this is 3, 6, 9. Unless they have Guile, then it's only 3. Opponent sacks a creature. You're going to make a 1/1. We'll get Solid Fountain, just not show them the Triome here. Opponent's down to 9 cards. Doesn't matter too much because they have Teferi, which didn't update your back. Nice. This Teferi is going to be able to tuck itself unless we can mill for 9 right here. And they're going to hold up Cryptic Command. Gotta try it. Arguably, we could hold for 1 turn and hope that we have. Opponent doesn't. Has 4 cards in hand. Is showing Cryptic. Doesn't have Snap. Counterspell. Doesn't have Cryptic. Doesn't have Archmage's. Well, Archmage's trying all 4 in the bin. Really? Okay. So facing Esper Control, I want Test and Dispute. Ending's not great in this matchup. Just from the aspect of they do not play permanents that we can hit with Ending. EE's tempting if they bring in Chalice. Because we've got a lot of 1-drops. I'm tempted to cut a couple of surgicals here. And just bring in the Rest in Peace. Just make it so they don't have their Snapcasters. It puts us on a lot more 2-drops. And there's nothing we really want to surgical away. We're going to take out all surgicals and bring in Prismatic Ending. So, all right, if they have Chalice, we can deal with it. a bit blue heavy, especially on basics, but we'll try it. Because if we can land a crab... Alright. We're going to just pass here, because we know that they don't have any hand disruption. And fetch, shock, opt. Yep. Next turn, we'll have crab into dispute. Assuming they have something we can dispute. And then we'll have land in either Archmage Charm or Remand. Okay, that's not terrible for them. Rest in Peace is pretty good. Come on. You have the counterspell? And I'm gonna get punished? Alright. Punished for not playing the land first. But the entire purpose of the crab is to, you know, be able to land that. Let's go get ourselves the Hollowed Fountain tapped. Well, we've got a hand that just says no to everything. Sure, we'll try to stick a Rest in Peace. Because they're going to try to counter this, and we're going to dispute that. You got your Force of Negation? Nobody's got a graveyard. We're not doing a whole lot of milling, and they're about to try to stick something here. If this is Jace, we're in trouble. Because Jace is now just going to Fate Seal away. Was a Plains on top? We'll play the Plains because I know about it and pass the turn. We've got Remand and Test of Talents here. Chooses not to Jace. I'm going to go ahead and try to draw 3 here. Or draw 2. Assuming this eats a counter spell, but that's fine by us. Cryptic counter draw, sure. And we see Delta, which is what they know about. So play out the Delta, pass the turn. Fate Seals. So they did put the card on bottom. And so we're about to blind draw here. It's a blind draw. Sure. We'll take a redraw. You're gonna try to counter. Gonna try to test your counter spell. Their hand is snap, snap. Get rid of both of those. There's a Kozilek. And get a draw. That'll land and pass the turn. I'm just noting that their hand is double snap. There we go. Tasha's ain't bad. Their hand is still just double snap. So this test ain't great. And so they liked the card. We're gonna get rid of it then. Bring in the triome. Archive trap, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and Tasha's here. Yeah, we know that their hand's just double. Sure, they play snap. Moto's feeling sluggish right now. Thank you, opponent. Thank you for fetching. Mill 13. Yeah, Moto's having real fun. Go ahead and play out your second Snapcaster. 15 cards left in opponent's deck here. Problem is, this Mind Sculptor's about to just take off. So we need Fractured Sanity off the top. Anything less and we lose. They did not like the card, so it's a blind draw here. Down to 14 we go. Fractured. Okay, that's not it. Right, because we're not going to win with what we've got in hand, and this has the ultimate. So, concede, move on to the next one. One more draws and ending. You can't ending the Jace anyway. Close. So we saw Shuffle Titan, which makes me want more than just rips. We didn't see chalices, so those can come out. Yeah, control with the shuffle. Yeah, I know that I lost with the fighting over the rip because the turn after they then slammed the Jace, and that's won it. So if I had just let them rip, then I stop the Jace, and then he. Yeah, we'll shave on Tasha's here. It's not phenomenal, but it's not awful. Would love to take the play. Reveal the Luris. Just finished facing the Jeskai Phoenix. So we know that they run Shuffle Titan. Do we keep a hand that has Surgical and double Archive Trap? It's tempting. Let's try it. Definitely shouldn't, but we're going to try it and cry. Island, say go. Oh yeah, this is a fire one at a time, not fire both. So they Thoughtseize here. See if we can't hit it. Not in the first. Is it in the second? There we go. There's the Kozilek. Kozilek, pay the life. Like to get rid of that card. Problem is now they're gonna play a bunch of magic and we're not. So their hand is opt and veto, and that's it. And push. We've got to work through. That's fine. And Kozilek is in the grave. And we've got 1 Teferi, 1 Jace. So 2 Jace, 2 Teferi is their main win conditions. Good to note. I mean, they don't have anything, but we have absolutely nothing. But you know, we'll just draw some cards. So if they bring up white, we know that they have veto. All right, they have veto, so we're going to cycle the sanity. Because we're not running the card into counter magic. Flooded Strand. We're going to go ahead and put Luris to hand. Just because Luris is a clock. Although they do have push in hand. Making it not phenomenal. We're going to go ahead and opt. So their hand is push, counterspell, lands, and unknown. 2 unknown? Probably. Didn't mark what lands that they had. So we know about the push. Don't need to throw Luris into it yet. I'm going to play out the Flooded Strand here and then pass. Okay. They're now in scary territory. Okay. Archmage's Charm isn't bad. If they don't do anything, we can Archmage's Charm to get rid of the veto in hand. If they try to do something here, like their own Archmage's Charm. We go ahead and counter this. Don't let them draw. First list. Thought seizes away the Luris. That's fine. Means that their push is still just sitting in hand. This we draw a crab. If crab resolves, we get mill 6, if not mill more. Yeah, I definitely think that you don't want a lot of the charms, but I wanted a bit more counter magic or draw suite, and charm fit that bill pretty nicely. Let's go ahead and get rid of their scry engine. And go ahead and fetch here, putting the Triome into the field, killing them a bit more. So push is gone, but that crab hit for 9. 1 mana, mill 9, make them discard a card. It's not a bad. And we hit 2 Snapcasters and a Teferi. That's pretty great, in my opinion. They don't have much of a clock now. Unless, of course, they have Teferi in hand. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? Nothing we could have done about that. Visions. We're gonna see if they play something to the bin. And then we can hopefully resolve this vision since they're at 19. Colonnade. That's not good. They have found another win condition. We're gonna untap Colonnade. We're gonna hold the visions. A surgical, huh? What are we about to try here, opponent? You're gonna unmoored ego? No, that's not instant. Esper Charm. Target player discards 2 cards. Targeting me. Sure, I'll let that resolve. We'll discard a land and a surgical extraction. Let's try to draw 3. Let's see if they've got the counter magic. I'm assuming they do. And it's going to make me even more sad. Because we know about the veto. Yeah. I walked right into that one. We knew about the veto. And so I guess what I should have done was tried to surgical in response, hitting something like Snapcaster Mage, hope that they vetoed there, and then drew 3 with the charm still on the stack. Instead of just letting charm resolve. Because maybe us hitting something like snap there is enough to entice. Rip, huh? Oh, we're very dead. And so here's their cryptic. Counter draw. It's just a matter of time at this point. One just needs to start going shields down and bashing face with colonnade. The problem is they can't do that for 4 more turns. 2 more with Teferi. Because once they have out Teferi, we are just, or the Teferi ult, we are just very dead. Because I think they're a mana short of being able to colonnade and hold up something like cryptic. Okay. You're gonna, well, I say that, but they get to untap 2 lands. Tasha's. So our worst case scenario here is they ult Teferi, Archmage's Charm, hit 2 of our sources, draw 2, and then they'd still have up counter magic. So we have to just try to hit this now. Make them have the counter magic here, possibly having to use the Archmage's Charm so they can't hit our lands. But I'm taking 4 blue, another cryptic. Dasha's could hit for potentially a lot there. Probably not the full 20, but considering what's in their yard, we know that they'd have 2 Jaces. If this is a Jace, okay, this is snap. So snap into Archmage's Charm, draw 2, hit us for 2. We need Tasha's off the top. To have a shot at this. I don't think we're going to be able to get there. Arguably, instead of hitting the castle, we could have hit Mystic Gate or to cut them off of white for a while. They didn't draw their colonnade for a long time. So if we had done that, we'd have a shot. They fetch while we have no cards in hand. They're smart. Although there's nothing for them to find. Tasha's Field of Ruin. Well, we can at least field their colonnade and make their clock take forever. because they draw and then they get to exile a thing. They're going to try to exile our blue source. That's fine. We're going to tap it. Yeah, we'll let the mana go to waste. Three, four. Archmage's Charm. They're going to draw 2. Really don't like you drawing cards, opponent. Again, I should be doing this after they draw with the triggers on the stack. I know that they're just going to hit the lands and not the Field of Ruin. So our one out here is visions off the top, them to not have counterspell and these 7 cards in their hand, and then us hitting double Archive Trap and them choosing to fetch. Vindicate. All right, no outs now. All right. Esper Control, getting it done, mainly because we kind of threw. Yeah. Not our greatest showing there. All right. 0-1. We lost the die roll. Let's reveal this Luris. Hands, got a crab, got fetch lands, got a remand, and a visions. Kahira revealed, meaning probably elementals. With that knowledge, we keep this because Field of Ruin's really strong. Hope that they don't have the Fury. Oh, Moto's still chugging. Great. Another crab's actually a really good draw for us there. So this fetch, go get Hollowed Fountain, shock it in. Play out the crab. Pass the turn. Because next turn we can go crab into land, mill them for 6, if not 12. And then this visions will indeed be quite powerful. We're hoping they don't have the Solitude or the Fury. Triumph for opponent. Flamekin? Sure. You know you put the card on top, right? This elemental doesn't go to your hand. And I have a Ruin Crab out. They reveal Omnath. Sure, I will gladly mill over an Omnath. Ooh, ending's real good there too. Because we can crab mill 6 and then ending away the Harbinger. This crab triggers. Yield. Ephemerate. I don't think there's an elemental on. Yeah. I don't think there's an elemental we care about. What happened to our planes? Oh, well, I just can't grab it off of the Delta. That's why. Need to pay attention to what I'm cracking. That mill him 6 more. Milled over a Fury and a Solitude. Go ahead and just ending that. See if they have the Ephemerate. They do not. So next turn we have Field plus Visions. Honestly, we could just Delta. If they don't play something scary here. Delta, hold up Remand and Visions. I like that play better. If we don't see like Teferi here. So there's a Steam Vent. Shocked in 3 mana Teferi. Need to tap that. Nope, just an evoked Muldrifter. Okay. I'm okay with that. That's not that scary. Another Visions. Okay. And so this is just Delta pass. Alright, they've got 28 cards left in deck. We have Remand and Visions. I'm feeling pretty safe about whatever they try here. I don't think they're on Endurance main board, but I very much agree sideboard. I just don't think they have enough green cards to pitch to the Endurance. I know that they run a lot of white cards and a lot of red cards. So they played an Arid Mesa and threw it into the graveyard instantly. That's fine. I'm assuming this is going to be an attempted Omnath. White, blue, green, and red. Teferi. Moto, stop chugging. 3 mana to draw. We draw an Obero. Pretty good land to hit there. Evokes a Solitude. Pitching Teferi. I mean, if you're evoking, we're going to go grab ourselves the land here and mill you for 6 more. Solitude's gonna eat a crab away, which is fine. We're gonna draw 3. Ah, you have the Ephemerate. Visions. Okay. And kind of flood. They're gonna eat the other crab, making this hand filled with lands not so great. Don't have a way to deal with the Solitude. So at this point, we need to draw mill spells. Yes, upkeep, draw. That's not a mill spell. Blue Visions. Draw 3. We draw archive trap and ending. We can force the search and then trap them. Arguably, it's correct to do the stomping grounds instead. Because if they have a basic... Okay, well, they had the forest anyway. This mill opponent. 43... Reef. Fine with hitting that in their draw step. They've got 6 cards left in deck. Okay. Draw. Let's go ahead and hit that Risen Reef. Because we know that consists of 2 of their cards. So their hand is Fury, Mole Drifter, Cavern, and Teferi. I'm pretty sure we're not dead. Fury. Fury is scary. Strictly because it has double strike, meaning we are dead if we don't hit a mill spell. Because we cannot ending the Fury. So we either need mill spell on the draw or fractured sanity off the cycling Ragaran. Mill speller crab. This gives us a lot of looks. Really? Of all the ways that we have to do this, it's through a Field of Ruin to be able to archive trap them. Right? It's like the most amount of clicks while Moto's having to chug along. And they concede. Really? I already know your last 3 cards. I know exactly what. Oh, you have their opponent. All right. So we know that they're going to bring in convoluted but effective. The worst part is, how many lands did we hit off of those Visions of Beyond? Oh my god. So rips are coming in. So that way there's just no graveyard to deal with. Yeah. Ending, we can cut a good number of. They don't really play counter magic, but they might bring in Force of Negation here. I want Verdict, because if they get a board state going, I need a way to deal with it. I guess we could try to test. shave those. Bring in paths, bring in pests. Ephemerate. I feel it's probably a 1 of though, not a 2 of. Just a lot of their things is trying to evoke and then ephemerate. Ending hits to fairy, which is one of the problem cards of Magic in general. We'll shave. There's not a lot we want to surgical. So we'll shave on surgical there. Since we're bringing in Rip. I need to just have a dead card in our hand. I mean, if they fetch, but we know that they're bringing in endurance. This hand just doesn't have an answer to endurance other than countering it. This hand I like, and we can bottom an island. Doesn't have an answer, but isn't hard focused on milling them. Cavern names elemental. Plays out the Harbinger. Yep. Let's see them go searching for endurance. Omnath. Okay. So they just have faith that they're going to be able to get to the Omnath. Wrath effect in hand and a crab. Yeah, exactly. It's like there's nothing terrible about this hand. We're gonna pass. I don't want to expose the crab to a fury. I want to get at least a mill for 6 off of this crab. We're probably just gonna cycle this visions early to try to find an answer to the glorious, glorious card that is endurance. Rather than try to get to 20. And I clicked through it because I'm smart. SMORT. Smart. This delta mill them. Fury's just the one that will get you every single time. I guess it doesn't matter that we clicked through it there technically because we still couldn't cycle this turn, so we can just, if we really need it, shock in. All right, they fetch. And Triumph for them. Nothing we really care about in their graveyard. They play a Wooded Foothills and they crack it. Sure. Is this going to be Teferi time? Temple Garden shocked in. Green, blue, white. Risen Reef. Yeah, Reef will happen. Makes this verdict real good if we can hit a land. They're casting Fury for the evoke cost. It's fine. With the trigger of Fury on the stack here. Going to definitely fetch. You get to look at the top card. Before that resolves, we're going to fetch. And have to shock in here. Mill opponent for a bit. Try to see endurance. We do not, but we see triple Fury in the bin. That's aggressive. Yeah. 16 life is relatively fine. And they get in for 1. Yeah, we're fine with that. We go down to 15. And let us cycle of visions. Seachrome Coast. Beautiful land to see there. So now this is interesting. We could either land Insanity trying to hit Endurance and surgicaling it away and hope that of their 4 cards, one is not an Endurance. Or we could play out the crab, play out the land, hold up. I like playing out the crab. This line just feels a bit safer to me. Because it still allows us to cycle sanity. And then we'll have verdict next turn. They play a Windswept Heath and they crack it. I love Moto being this choppy. A Shocked and Hollowed Fountain. Here comes Big Daddy Omnath. Here comes the uncounterable Omnath. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and cycle the sanity here. Mill 4. We hit over nothing great. Visions is pretty good there. Visions might be able to bait out an Endurance if they have it. Can we afford to take a chunk? Is the question. Casting Solitude for its evoke cost to get rid of the crab. All right. They're churning through their deck. Evoked. And this will happen. We lose our crab. meaning Visions is not online anymore. We take 2. I feel this is a verdict's turn now. This we draw, unless we draw something phenomenal here. That's not phenomenal. White, white, blue, blue. Come on. Yeah. I still want to hold this surgical because endurance is just a card we can't afford to lose to right here. Because now Visions is online as well. Omnath. Omnath. They draw a card. And then they're going to gain some life. Oh, it's a fetch land. Even worse for us. Right. Oh, this is hopefully going to be Visions to bait the endurance. Hope they put the evoke first to try to shuffle it back in. They doing anything with this 4 mana? This should probably be Teferi if they've got it. It's a reef. That works too. I also feel you should use your red there. Because if you have Ephemerate, you can then Ephemerate the Omnath again to draw more. And Omnath trigger smacks us for 4. Flamekin. Okay, and that's why they did the red. Makes sense. Because you put Risen Reef trigger underneath the Flamekin. Flamekin goes and grabs whatever you want. And now we know whatever their cards in hand's going to be. A Fury. Them electing to get Fury there makes me think that they just don't run Endurance. Start with the Visions. See if this baits out the Endurance. It does not. Another Visions. So we have... this turn is Crab, play out the Triome. Yeah, this is definitely where they should have used it. This is Crab, play out Triome, Surgical Extraction away the Fury that's in their hand. We get to safely block. Okay, and on their draw step, we're going to surgical them. Well, Yeah. We'll surgical them on their draw step. This Fury doesn't have flash. We can't afford them to cast that card. Moto. There's the upkeep. Draw step. Surgical. Cast. Target Fury. Pay life. We get down to 7, so we're going to have to chump the Omnath. Because they might be able to get triple land here. Okay, yeah. So no shuffle effect. Their hand is, however, Mole Drifter plus another Omnath. So I see 5, 10, 13, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We need them to draw into some of their bigger cards. And so they're evoking the Mole Drifter, effectively drawing 3. Yeah, no endurance. Who would have thought? The Elementals deck isn't playing the busted Elemental for Graveyard Strategies, and Graveyard Strategies are running rampant right now? So we just need to live here. We throw the Hedron Crab in front of the Omnath. Hope they didn't hit Solitude. Blue, red, white. Another. Oh, that's beautiful. That's their Mole Drifter that they evoked. That's the second Mole Drifter. So that turns Tasha's into lethal. They only have 19 left in deck, even if they hit only lands. Because we'll have a Tasha's plus test if they have counter magic, but they don't. Alright, they play out Omnath, and they get 4 mana here. They fetch. I hope that they don't have a land to grab off of this. I think they do, though. Breeding Pool, Shocked in. So, it being Breeding Pool means it can't be anything great. Sure, you can Solitude. Oh, well, if they have Teferi in their 3 here, we lose. That's blue and white gone. That's Teferi. Concede. Because Teferi just bounces crab and we can't take 4 when we're at 3. I am going to go ahead and restart Moto while we're in this sideboarding. So I mean, we didn't. I like the verdict. I like EE. I like paths. Because they didn't have endurance. Leave out the rips, bring in the lantern. No, take out the lantern, bring in extraction. Okay. I know we're not really going to be able to get this EE to anything above, say, 3. But not keepable. So one lander. I really, really hate keeping one landers. But it's just, if we can get there, it's such a good keep. I think this is keep, bottom a crab. Yeah, EE on 3 is not terrible. It hits their Risen Reefs, it hits Teferis, hits... I mean, it hits their 2 threats that we care about. We'll keep this. Bottom... In all honesty, it's bottom a crab. We're going to bottom the crab that has less toughness. This, fetch, hollowed fountain, shock it in, play out the crab, pass the turn. If they have the turn 1 ending, they have the turn 1 ending. Hmm. Foothills, they fetch. Looking good with this trap. They got red and white, and they have the ending. Because why wouldn't they? Familiar 13, opponent. I see a Risen Reef. We're going to go ahead and hit that card. I don't want to deal with Risen Reef. Just shut off their main engine. Well, that's a hand. Anything new from their deck? Nope. Okay. So their hand is Fury Ephemerate. Which is fine. They need a red card. And then we just... They need double white. We just need a land here so we can remand. All right. Pass the turn. Hope they don't hit a land. I hope they don't hit their red card. Breeding Pool. Shocked in. Utopia Sprawl. Yep. Name's white. Makes sense. Don't have it. Don't do this to me. Yep. I'm assuming this is the Ephemerate. Really? Dang. So it looks like we're going to be punished for keeping a one-lander. As seeing they have us on, what, a 3-turn clock? And we're not even going to draw land. Gotta love it. Losing to endurance-less elementals because we got greedy. Down to 9. There's a land. So, right? We hold up remand here if they don't do something like Teferi. Nomnath. Well, that's remanded. Well, nope, it can't be. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can still counter the spell. But I don't know if we'd get the draw. So we need to be able to play 2 lands in 1 turn here. Easy, right? We got this. Just want to see how far down more lands were. Okay, well, there's a crab, meaning we have a blocker. And it does not matter that we have a blocker, because we can either block 6 and take 4 and go to -1, or block 4 and take 3 and go to 0. There are no outs. Not when you can't draw lands. We block there, so we take Exaxes. Land, 1 land, 2nd land. All right. We'll try it. Hand's not phenomenal. But the double surgical, if we can hit like a Murktide here. If we believe Motobot. We'll play out a Flooded Strand and pass the turn. Okay, well. That's not is it tempo. Meaning living end. So Hideous Laughter here is awful. Yeah, surgical ain't bad though. We just surgical whatever their highest threat density card is here. Double blue cycle. Architects of Will. Not a bad card. Evoke to Grief, huh? What'd they exile? A Living End? Well, that's unfortunate. Well, there's a grief. So if I'm them, you take what? One of the surgicals here? Or the crab? Because Tasha's exiles? So they do this. Yeah. Okay, so they violent outburst. I mean... So grief just rips us apart. But they've got 2 of each threat. We're just going to concede. Yeah. Like, we can take either grief or curator or architects. And then they have 8. If we don't take the curator, they have 8, 12, 18 power on board. Plus the waker. If we do take the curator, it reduces that number by 2. There's just no winning that. Well, you know what I said about mass graveyard interaction? Bring those in, take those out. Test? I can see a test, maybe. The question is lanterns. And how much of on the graveyard do I want to be? Archmage Charm can come out here. It's only a draw 2 for 3 mana at this point. Ending doesn't hit anything of theirs unless... Take out 2 ending, bring in... Bring those in. Force spike. The problem is I don't know how often we're going to be holding up 3 mana. Because there are no blue cards we want to be countering. So is 3 mana enough? I want a verdict just in case I manage to resolve. We're bringing in the rest in pieces, so we'll cut down visions. Run it like this. See what we can do. Mulligan, we don't have any mass graveyard. Snapkeep. Bottom the sanity here. No, we'll bottom remand. This fetch and shock. Drop out the ruined crab and pass the turn. Turn 2 rip. Hopefully gonna be enough. Botanical Sanctum. No turn 1 grief. Nice. Crab to exile. Pretty much. Show me Force of Negation, opponent. They cycle. They cycle. They're looking for it. They found it. Unfortunate. So now we need more mass exile. They are cycling hard. But you know, Soul Guide Lantern ain't bad. It hit. Force of negation. Doesn't matter. Hedron Crab. This, not pay the life. Hit them. Force, dispute, force. Wow. Botanical Sanctum. Violent Outburst. Sure. Do you cast the Living End? In response to the Living End being cast, I want to exile your graveyard? Congratulations. You destroyed 2 crabs. Okay, this puts us in an interesting spot. They're tapped out, and so let's go ahead and put Luris to hand. This is the safest turn to do so. Because 1 land and we have recurring Luris and Soul Guide, which is just about game ending for them. So let's play this. Let's fetch here, get ourselves an island. White, 1, Luris. Play out the lantern. Hit the violent outburst. And opponent doesn't want to play that game. Because they don't have... There's 3 force of negations in there. They know that they can never really refill. Alright. I agree with what we did. Since we saw the counter spells, I want to bring in Mystical Disputes over the prismatic endings. Now that we know that they're running in counter magic. So hand's got surgical, but hand doesn't do anything else. Okay, we keep this. Keep this bottom. Bottom of crab. Because I want the tests to counter their living end. And once we counter a living end, I don't know what they're really doing to stop us. We're going to go Obero into Ruin Crab here and pass the turn. Shh. I don't think that's what you want to be countering, opponent, but okay. What's up, Wheels? Yeah, we crabbing people. This, they cycle. What does the Azor bring to mill? Mainly things like rip, sideboard cards. So we're gonna Flooded Strand here and pass. Them missing a land drop there is pretty good for us. So they cycle. Street Race, cycling some more. Cycling some more. Honestly, in these games, I haven't really missed the drown. A triome. I'm gonna play out the triome and pass the turn. Actually, yeah, we're gonna pass. And in their draw step, no. Yeah, we're just gonna let them go. I was thinking possibly surgicaling the dispute. What on earth is opponent's hand? Two curator. Not lands, that's for sure. Yeah. We will put that into play tapped and pass. We'll probably just draw cycle one of these visions here. Opponent found land. Good for them. I would like to draw a card. Neat. Did indeed draw a card. Well, there's a Field of Ruin. Wonder what they get. Probably interaction. So we're gonna do hit the Sunken Ruins off of white. This will just barely be turning on. So they're gonna float double blue. Opponent, that's a mistake. Because now you gotta use it. Waker. Sure. Be right back. I'm surprised that we didn't hit a living in there. So one of the cool parts because it works is 6 deals on phones and you're upgrading to an S21 Ultra. Nice. Enjoy. Keep draw. What? Oh, you're right. There is one in there. I'm just blind as a fucking bat. So I guess we go ahead and do this now then. I just didn't see the living end. Surgical the living end. All right, they're gonna try to test here. Or Violent Outburst, one of the two. Violent Outburst will cascade, sure, cascades into a living end. And we shall Test of Talents the living end. Good try, opponent. All right, we will gladly take the play here. Reveal this Azorius. So, what did they reveal? Obosh. So this is probably mono red. We're gonna mulligan this and keep this bottoming. Yeah, bottoming delta. No. Surgical. There's nothing we really want to surgical in this matchup anyway. This, we skip our draw step, play out the Obero, and pass the turn. The reason we don't play out the crab is because Bolt is a card. Odds are the mono red deck has Bolt. Okay, I'm at a complete loss. Their rack. That's an option. They are Obosh 8 rack. There's the Bolt. Let's fetch. I'm gonna get the basic here in case they have removal or Blood Moon. I'm guessing that they probably aren't running it, but you never know. Ruin Crab. Okay, we're gonna do it this way. I know this makes it so if they have a discard, we kind of lose to it. But at the same time, if they don't have a discard, we are great to it. All right, well, there's a Skelemental. And you're going to have to discard 2. So if we don't block, they go to 12. We mill 3 off of this delta. And they go to 14. We need another fetch land to make this Visions worth it. So let's bottom or discard those 2. Instep Elemental gets sacrificed, and now we're going to cycle the Sanity. I don't want to fetch right now. But yes, you're technically right. Hedron Crab. Okay. So this is a interesting line because we're missing our land drop. We get to bounce the Obero, replay the Obero, mill them for 6, and then mill them for another. Mill them for more. Going down to 10, and we can just hold the surgical. We don't need the white. Is there anything I'm afraid of? I really don't like another Lightning Skelemental. So on their draw step, we're gonna get rid of that card. Because our land's tapped for black thanks to their Orborg. So that's not their hand. That's good. They've just got seasoned pyromancers. And anger is left in the deck. Other than that, it's just a bunch of discard effects. Okay. No unearths, so we will leave these in the yard. They're at 28. We'll just take them out. So they play the Blood Crypt and cast one of their seasoned pyromancers. Disagree with, because now you have to discard one of your pyromancers. Do you really ever need 4 lands here, opponent? I know, I take 3. Okay. So, mill for 6 or mill for 3. We're going to just bounce Obero, replay Obero, and then put Luris to hand. Just to hold on to a card, so if they like Raven's Crime, we can pitch Flooded Strand. Because we're blocking and blocking, unless they have anger. I like to pitch Flooded Strand first. Alright, they're making us discard plenty of cards, hoping that the rack can get them there. Considering how they're swinging with team, this either means that they have the anger of the gods, or they're desperate. Oh, they couldn't cast anger anyway. This, we have to take 3. It's a land. Let's bounce Obero, replay Obero. I really should be doing that in our upkeep in response to the rack. Would have been taking 1 less damage. They're at 6. So they need to have drawn Bolt. Or the anger. One of the two does it for him. In step, I would like to bounce Obero to my hand. I'll take 2. Go to 2. Alright, we're gonna mill you 6, opponent. There we go. So... Rakdos 8 rack, huh? Tasha's is fine, Charms are fine, Ending's fine, blah, 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 blah. Is there anything that we want? EE, maybe, as an answer? Wouldn't say so close. We can take those out and bring in like Soul Guide. Just because Soul Guide's either redraw, or we can get it going with Alaris. Here's hoping that they don't have Shuffle effect. Nope. As tempting as this hand is. Okay, 2 more cards. Um, just too slow against 8 rack. Okay, we can keep 5 of these. Bottom soul guy, no. Bottom visions, bottom, no. Bottom remand, bottom. Yeah, bottom visions, bottom. Those. We will lead off with an Obero and a lantern. Pass the turn. Bloodstained Mire, they fetch. And they shock. And they Inquisition. Well, Inquisition only hits the Fractured Sanity. But that'll happen. Down to 1 card in hand, and it's a land. Keep, we draw, remand. Pretty good one. Bloodstained Mire, yep. Raven's Crime. So we can either bounce this to their hand. It doesn't matter. I'll say it's a question of, do we want them to discard whatever the next card is, or do we want them to discard the remand? Let's go ahead and sacrifice a Soul Guide Lantern here. Tasha's ain't bad if we can hit a land. We cannot. Also, Moto's getting chuggy again. So, something in that sound driver, I guess. Well, there's 3. Let me guess. This is... Oh, we're going Inquisition. Inquisition takes Tasha's. Then Raven's Crime, we have to discard our ending. Yep. The part that I dislike is that we're not out of this game in the slightest because they don't have any pressure. That's my problem with Rack. Is if they can't apply the pressure. Okay, so there is a Soul Guide in the yard that we can start recurring. There's pressure. So 1 or fewer. We want Visions of Beyond. That is not a Visions of Beyond. However, we do that, we pass the turn. If they only have Raven's Crime, we can hope that they don't have multiple retraces. Because we can bounce the Obero. If we really need it. They bolt us. Okay. And then they... Lily, each player discards a card. I'm gonna bounce Obero. That's your route. We take 3 off of the shrieking. We find ourselves a land. Luris down. It doesn't buy us much here. Because they just down tick with the lily. Yep. As we do this, we get a basic, and then we replay the Soul Guide Lantern. Sorry, we have a redraw. At a later date. Get rid of, I guess, a Raven's Crime. Get rid of the foil Raven's Crime. I mean, you could just call it that. They went down. We have to sack the Luris. We now cry. Oh, Obosh to hand. Like, what'd they do? We lose 3, go to 3. We are dead on board. Unless this is visions off the top. Still looking for visions. Tasha's won't do it. All right. We're gonna restart Moto again. All right. EE lanterns fine. Surgicals meh. Rips aren't terrible. Ending doesn't hit a lot. Archmage's Charm. We'll shave one. Keep the other one. There we go. This reveal Luris. Sure. Doesn't have a great start, but depending on what we can hit here. So they fetch Shock and Shrieking Affliction. Sure. You get the affliction down before I can do anything about it. Archive Trap, Milia 13. Get rid of 2 Skelementals there. That's pretty good. Of course, we hit Rip. Do this, we pass the turn. We remand whatever they cast. Position. I'll only let you do it once. Archive Trap. Okay. They take Tasha's. Sure. They now know that they can't fetch. Play out Hesian Crab. Do this. Bounce Obero. Replay Obero. Crab them. And our Visions is online next turn. Nice. You're gonna bolt the crab? Sure. Make me sad, opponent. They're gonna Thoughtseize. And do you take the Archive Trap or do you take the Visions? They take EE. Okay. I think that's strictly wrong because, you know, I get to draw 3 off of that. This ruin crab, seachrome coast. Always yield. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you're afraid of me having things on exactly one, because it hits affliction and rack. But and the reason I want to get that rip down is I'm scared of a shuffle effect at this point. Okay, there's a rack. We'll take nothing. Blue. No. Undo. This. One return. Do it this way. Do this. Yeah, Unearth would have been bad too. Go ahead and just cast Fractured Sanity. Mill them for 14. They have 15 cards left. I would say we're a bit away. We have Archive Trap at any point until they do this. That's fine. Let's go ahead and just not take damage from the rack. We get punished if our hand hits exactly land. But that's fine. Replay and pass. We get punished if they have what? Lily? They don't. They put Obosh to hand and now they're passing. Gemstone? Sure. Fractured Sanity. That'll do it. Blue. And cast it. Mill 12 cards. Pass the turn. So, no shuffle effect. No unearths. So, you can make an argument that the rest in peace is just wrong there to bring in. But, we mulligan this. Doesn't do anything. Man, if these endings were lands... Fuck off, Moto. We had a questionable 7. And then just 2 absolutely cannot keeps. Okay, so... some artifact shenanigans going on the other side there. We don't have any artifact stuff. Yep. Moto just doesn't care. Blooded Strand, they go a fetching. Two mana. Stoneforge. Sure. I'll let you Stoneforge. What's a Stoneforge get? Do we see part of the Thopter Sword combo? No. We see a Kaldra. That is glorious for us to see. Let's get the triome. Why is it glorious for us to see? Because when they flash it in, we're gonna steal the token and have ourselves a nice big ol' beater. Sure. Living weapon. Yeah. Yep. Blue, blue, blue. I'll take that germ token off your hands for you, opponent. Hollowed fountain shocked in. Path it. Portable hole. Sure. They exile their germ token. They're quite a ways away from being able to do anything with their Cauldra. Let's go ahead and ending the Stone Forge here. Ingenious Smith. Okay, so they are in the Thopter Foundry combo. They just chose to get Cauldra to try to race. This, we draw an Archive Trap. Okay. It's pretty good. Let's hit the Hollowed Fountain. They got a basic Plains. Archive Trap. Also, Archive Trap probably isn't the safest thing to be doing there, now that I'm thinking about it. Because if we put a sword into the yard, we are in trouble. So they're blue-white Foundry, from the looks of things. That's a Sentinel. Hmm. So we don't have much. I mean, we've got the rest in pieces, and we've got tests and disputes and path. I say we don't have much. We have quite a bit. Nettle Cyst. That's a big boy. You having fun with your puns, Wheels? Okay, we go to 15. We hit Tasha's. And we go for it. Yeah, we'll pay. Just because I really don't want them drawing cards. This hits for 16. Not bad. What do we hit? One sword and an Urza are the big hits. Oh gosh, we could hit thought monitors. They draw cards. So 12, 13, 14, one more. Albeit one. We need a mill spell off the top and for them to not have counter magic. That won't do it. Crab. Not mill spell. Crab. Not mill spell. All right. So we need to, see mill spells. What do I like against them? Rip to stop the combo. Dispute hits Urza. I don't think we saw anything that we wanted to hit with test. Soul guides are fine. We don't need surgicals until, we see that they're on that plan. Honestly, Sunset doesn't seem awful here. Sunset over like a pair of visions. We're at 64. Trim visions, trim sanity. The sanity's not awful if we can exile things, but if we can't, yeah. I want these paths as another way to deal with Urza. Take out one ending and a charm. I don't think charm's what we want to be doing. Yes, we can be cute with it sometimes, but I don't think a majority of the time we want to be being cute with our cards. So we've got the dispute. We've got ending and path. It doesn't mill for a lot, but it has a lot of interaction. We will go Flooded Strand and pass the turn. Sea Chrome Coast, Sentinel. All right. Let's go ahead and get Hollowed Fountain here. Tapped. This, that. Go ahead and just get rid of this now. We will not pay. Well, I don't think they have any blue card. Well, they've got Thopter Foundry. So paying, we get punished if they have exactly Foundry here. But if this is something like Stoneforge, we can't stop that with a dispute. So they search. They get probably complete. Yep. So we will be pathing this Stoneforge, which feels a bit bad. now it feels fine. Add the stone forge. Just leave him with a card in hand. Let's hope they try to do something like Urza. Sure, you can bobble. Boundary. I don't like that. Let's fetch, put Hollow Fountain into play tapped. They want to bobble and see what we're drawing. That's fine. It's more like sent auto. I don't even know when you sent that, Wheels. Makes me glad that I kind of just ignored it. So we could either hold up Remand. Or Tasha's and full send it for a turn. I like holding up Remand because I don't want to give them a turn where they have Urza if we don't have to. Yep. So land into, now they try to resolve Urza, Lord High Artificer. We say, how about no? And we draw a card. Let's cycle this Visions. I know it's not online, but we kind of need something here. Well, that's something. Crab. And crab. And land. And save targets. Mill quite a bit there. Saga goes to 2. Portable hole. Sure. Response to targeting. I would like to fetch. We get a Triumph tapped. Mill opponent for a bit. Neat. Portable hole's good. There goes a crab. So I see the most fun card in the game of Magic. Second hole. Okay. So 2 Urzas plus Urza in hand plus Kaldra in hand. I don't know what's left for that Stoneforge to grab. Chooses not to. Okay. So we hit crab is fine. Triple blue Tasha's hit for 20. One time. 10. Well, was it a good 10? Thought monitor, Stoneforge, Stoneforge, Stoneforge. Genius dispatch. It's not an awful 10. So I'm pretty sure you just float the mana here, get no value out of your saga. So that way you can Stone Forge and hold up counter magic. Did we bring in EE? I think we did. No, we did not bring in EE. Might have to rethink that. Springleaf Drum. Tap like that. Smith, because then the Smith grows. Look at the top 4. May reveal. Opter Foundry into the revealed cards. Taps those 2 to put Cauldra into play. And grows their Smith and then has a complete. Their hand is Opter. Yeah, their hand is Foundry, Urza, 1 or 2 unknown. Alright. Down to 12 we go. Land. And go ahead and try to resolve this. Nothing that we really want to hit. So let's just tag Teferi. Let's go ahead and just redraw. Because if we hit land, I want to play out Crab and play land. Paying costs. Rebuke. Blue and then 2. Of course. Alright. Pass the turn. We're looking at 7 across from, or 8 across from us. We'd be at 4. We'll need either running. So any mill spell does it. The safest line would be running, cycling Fractured Sanity into Fractured Sanity. But I don't think we can afford to do that. Opponent's also very low on cards. So assuming this is tap all of these and Stone Forge to play out a Wurza. Yep. Card's good. Makes an artifact and then has blue. To be able to play out the Thopter in hand. But could you have Chevy to do that? I have no idea what a Chevy is. A Ford? Oh. You know, Alex, I hate you sometimes. We're down to 4. Ruin crab here will not do it. All right. So opponent gets us. Well, yeah, opponent gets us. We can only block one of these. We've got 2 5/5s and a 3/3. We're empty-handed. Oh, let me guess. You've been holding portable hole this entire time? Or what? The sword? Well, there's the foundry. Grows your smith. Did they just board out the combo? At least it wasn't a 1/4. True. So 2 cards left. Yeah, we can concede here. We're not getting that. Bleh. So we would have drawn land, which would have sealed the deal. There's all of our lands. All right. So a 2-3 league. All in all, not terrible showing from blue-white mill. I mean, it's basically mono blue mill, and then we're splashing white for the prismatic ending and sideboard stuff. But it's not terrible. I can definitely see why people enjoy it. I think ending is stronger than fatal push, but I do not think blue-white mill is stronger than Demir mill. Esper mill, however, might be stronger than Demir. That's always a toss-up, is if you can get that 3rd color in there, you then gain access to your prismatic ending. You don't lose out on Drown in the Loch or Crypt Incursion. So it's a toss-up between blue-black and Esper. I think blue-white is a solid choice, but I just think it's solid 3rd choice, not a 1st or 2nd. I don't think it's in a contention for that at the moment. And that could be because of how I have my sideboard built. I don't know. There's lots to consider when you're looking at lists and deciding what's the best route to go, you know? So, all in all, Mill's still strong, but you can't punt like I did in one of those games. Anyway, with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a good one, everybody.